Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a Podcast, episode 32, post Thanksgiving. We hope that you all had a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. Hopefully, you were okay during Black Friday if you went out shopping. And we are back for another podcast. And we are your host. My name is Jason.
My name is Larranz. Never see a Gopher football team in 2020 again. Guider.
My name is Wyatt. I warned y'all. About them.
And Griffin, without playing this week, the Gophers have eliminated Wisconsin from the Big Ten playoffs.
We were gonna eliminate them either way.
That's the attitude.
And you can't convince me otherwise.
And we are back for another podcast. So, some quick nuggets like we did last episode. So, Gopher men's basketball is currently 2-0 with 2 victories at home against Green Bay and Loyola Marymount. So far, perfect win streak so far, fairly early in the season. Women's basketball hasn't started yet, but they'll start their season this Wednesday, December the 2nd, versus Eastern Illinois at Williams Arena. Our Pride on Ice, Gopher hockey, men's hockey, is 4-0 with 2 sweeps at home against Penn State and The Ohio State University, with a 4-1, 3-2, 4-1, and 2-0 victories. And I'm very excited. A hot team.
Marcus Carr is very, 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 very good at basketball.
Very. And then women's hockey is currently 3-1. I believe they're second in the WCHA or first. But kudos to our other Gopher athletics, and I apologize if I forgot anything else. So now on to Gopher football. The big thing I took away was this past week was there's now like a report about up to 40 confirmed cases between staff and players, and I'm like, how? What are your guys' takes on that?
Somebody got
sleeping giant, just waiting to pounce.
Somebody got a little bit happy after that Purdue game. And I assume that somebody may or may not, but definitely was a DB. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking happened. By the way, that was offensive pass interference. Since I don't think we went over the game, but that was offensive pass interference.
I thought we were going to ease into that, but Larranz, you're just a little bit more straightforward. So you just
It's 2020. We're about to have an Indiana versus Northwestern Big Ten championship, and Indiana is going to win a Big Ten championship before we do. So you know what? Let's go.
So yeah, there goes Larranz. Oh, he's back.
He got too excited. There he is.
All right. So Larranz hit in the head. So the Purdue game, we won 34-31. Purdue was marching down on in the last few seconds of the game, and then offensive pass interference pretty much sealed the game for us.
it was a ticky-tack call, but I mean, by the book, the more I looked at it, I'm like, you know what? Jeff Brom has every right to be mad, but at the same time, I don't think they called that all game. But it is what it is.
Yo, Griff, what was more ticky-tack? That offensive pass interference or that defensive pass interference on that throwing the ball away? That's what I
thought. But other things, I was throughout the night calling Larranz on Snapchat, so we can talk about the game. I was like on and off with the game. I was doing a photography gig for my family out of town. But apparently we can throw slants again. We had tight ends again, and I didn't use them at all in the fourth quarter.
We did not. Nope.
Well, now we won't use them for the rest of the season.
No, the saddest part about this season to me right now ending. Like, I honestly had no interest in watching this team play another game until they get an off season and figure out how to play defense again. But Muhammad was gonna be right there in the race for the Doak Walker Award. Like, we're not gonna play a single game, and he's still gonna win Big Ten Running Back of the Year because there's not a running back who's close. But dude was going to be able to be at that finalist spot, competing hard with Bryce Hall at Iowa State for the Doak Walker Award. And I'm very sad that we won't be able to see him run over probably Nebraska DBs.
Yeah.
Run over is an understatement.
Decapitate Iowa Nebraska DBs.
That's almost an insult to Mo since he has more rushing touchdowns in 5 games than Jonathan Taylor, and he has more than 800 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns through 5 games, which is pretty much the most since I think good old Ricky Williams at Texas in '95.
Well.
And that was his Heisman. That's all I'm saying.
It was like,
no one needs to see any more tape if we play another down of football. That's been solidified.
I'm like, and imagine this doing that without Daniel Falalala as well as Curtis Dunlap. And the fact that there is a good chance that both will be returning next year. A whole bunch of people are going to get eviscerated, decapitated, obliterated, dismembered. I don't know if I have any more adjectives.
There's no reason to throw the ball next year.
I mean, we still should, but these DBs are about to be treated like Donald Trump's claims in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. Slammed. Political jokes. Okay, I'm done.
But other news, Rashad Bateman did opt out for the remainder of the season, which we all said on the Snapchat group, which he should, with the way how it's going. So actually, that's actually what's my next part of the conversation. So, to put it like nicely in my words, it's not a great season in terms of like what we've seen this team can do. Of course, the run game is awesome. You know, Mohamed Ibrahim being Mo. But then, of course, with Rashad gone, and of course Tyler graduated, so is Chris and Daniel Jackson going to be our 1-2 guys next year, or is there any other guys you see on that in the passing game that could be big keys either if we still play this season or next year? Because
I think Chris has solidified himself, and the way he's made, especially the last game, the way he made key catches on 4th down. Yeah, he dropped I think a couple, but I mean he made big plays when it counts. He was our leading receiver in that game. He has been our leading receiver in past games. We just need more trust in the quarterback to receivers, because what did we see this game? Deep shots down the field. And what happened when we had deep shots down the field? We were getting flags called. We were getting catches. We have the offensive firepower to make our offensive attack one of the best in the Big Ten.
I mean, it already was, and we weren't even using it to its fullest capabilities. So,
how about your take, Wyatt? You've been gone for quite a while from the podcast, so I want your takes.
Oh, man. It's been hard to watch this season. It's been really tough watching these boys struggle to play football the way that they are fully capable of. And I think COVID has to be a large part of what's to blame for that. But I also think that particularly in the pass game, Tanner Morgan's not on the same page as the new offensive coordinator. Can't remember who he is.
Mike Sanford.
And we need to get an off season of those two just working together, making sure they're on the same page. And getting our pass offense back because we are in trouble if Tanner Morgan can't throw the ball.
Alternatively, with the trash fire that is Penn State football, maybe they'll be down for a trade.
Larranz? What are you suggesting, Larranz?
Kirky come back. Hey, bring me back Kirk Straka. Bring back Gopher football.
This is an open letter to Kirk Straka. Please come home.
We're not using tight ends any more this year than we were last year. Come on.
Oh, I have something. I'm not sure you guys would agree. Promote Matt Simon to full offensive coordinator.
I mean, we all saw the Outback Bowl. I didn't really have too many qualms with him. I'd say give him a shot. I'm not against that.
Only if Kirk can't come home.
Tight end saved the game. So he knows what a tight end is.
But also, he knows his wide receiver core. He developed them, or is developing them. So, like, there's a lot of things that's frustrating. Of course, Wyatt, when he was on podcasts, like on Snapchat, getting really pissed off about our punter situation. And then Brock,
how bad the punter was.
And then we have a true freshman named with the name Dragon doing kickoffs instead of Grant Ryerson, and the dude's been booting it into touchbacks or under the 5-yard line from what we've seen from him. And then Larranz not getting confused why the hell we're seeing Brock Walker kicking extra points or field goals instead of Michael Lance by being healthy. A lot of questions of special teams, and I'm like, I know Larranz, Wyatt's gonna be like, I told you so in the preseason podcast, but like, I'm still, I don't know.
How many things did I tell y'all in this preseason podcast that came true?
Indiana,
put some respect on my name.
Also, hot take now, Jeff Brown is just not a good coach. Jeff Brown.
Larranz, I do remember you saying at one point, I think it was last year during a podcast, that Jeff Brown was one of the best X's and O's coach.
I mean, he is, and yet I remember.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to chirp you. I'm just trying to tell you use your own words.
No. It's true. I mean, you saw what he was able to do with Rondale Moore against us. Rondale just showed up.
Almost like X's and O's aren't everything in college football.
Right, and yet I'm sitting here and I'm like, we're out here giving up 8 yards a carry, and dude needs a drive, and he's not running the ball right down our throats. And I said, okay, you are not good at football. You are not good at football if that's what you're going to do.
And is it more of like him as a head coach, or is it him and his staff that he's assembled, or is it he's more like a more offensive coordinator, kind of good coach, X's and O's, rather than being a head coach? Like,
I think he is a really, really good coordinator, because you cannot have Rondale Moore and David Bell and Milton Wright and Payne Durham at tight end and lose to Rutgers. That, and in the second half, mind you, they were up by 10 going into the half. In the second half, let it be known that Rutgers threw the ball 4 times. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happened.
With Arthur Sinkowski, too.
Because they put in, what's his face? The other one who Antoine Winfield Jr. made a fool of.
Federal?
No. The other one, last year.
Johnny Langdon?
That one. Yeah, dude was just a fullback. And he just ran it down Purdue's throat, and I was like, y'all ain't gonna bring one extra dude into the box. I see. Okay, cool, whatever. So yeah, I give PJ Fleck those wide receivers and see what
happens. Hey, Griffin, Rutgers now has their 3 wins?
2.
2?
Yeah,
Should
that's
be. Should have beaten.
Am I missing one?
No, Rutgers only has 2. Last time I looked, but
Michigan
beat
State.
Michigan State.
Oh, wait.
And they beat Purdue.
Oh, they lost Michigan. Never mind.
But they will get their 3rd win. I know you're thinking about it. They will.
You know who also has a 2nd win, or maybe a 1st win? I don't know. Maybe a 2nd win. The Fighting Illini have a 2nd win.
Oh.
Blown out at home to Illinois. Couldn't be me.
Nebraska.
Is Nebraska back yet?
No, they're still complaining about Iowa's clapping coaching staff on the sidelines.
Oh God!
Notice how in all the post game press conferences, PJ's like, "Yep, it's my fault, my responsibility. I need to do better." And Scott Frost is like, "They were clapping their hands. We couldn't get our counts right."
Get our counts right. We need players here who are really going to fight. We need to. Peter Fleck's like, yeah, this is my bad. It starts with me. I gotta coach better. And I'm like, wait, PJ, how is it your fault that your receivers dropped 8 balls? And coach better, they would have dropped 8 balls. I'm like, Scott Frost, why are you calling a quarterback draw on 3rd and 16? We need better players who are going to fight for Nebraska harder. Oh gosh, I really don't like Scott Frost. I don't like Jeff Brom, but at least Jeff Brom has already produced a 1st round wide receiver who's basically Tyreek Hill Part 2. I don't know what the heck Scott Frost is doing over there with more talent than anyone in the West.
Also, did he bench Adrian Martinez for McCaffrey?
He benched his quarterback for a fullback and got exactly the results one was expecting, to which he pulls Adrian Martinez in for the Iowa game, to which Adrian Martinez pulls a Tanner Morgan and completes 18 of 20 passes. Did they throw a touchdown? No. But he didn't throw an interception. Anyway, back to Purdue. What's up? Can we talk about that 4th quarter play calling?
Not yet, but we can.
Yeah, you know what? Let's get on that because we need to find ways to get 1st downs when we're trying to milk the clock. It upsets me. It really upsets me.
You're watching against Maryland, and we found out very quickly, as we found out already, actually this goes back to the Michigan game. You throw it up to our receivers, it's either pass interference or the receiver's going to come down with it. But what are we going to do? Run it. You know, against Maryland, could they cover Chris Bell at all? No, they could not. Bracketed him, and he dunked on both of them in the end zone. What do? Run it. Against Purdue, could they cover Rashad or Chris Bell at all? What do we do in the 4th quarter when our defense can't stop anything? Run it. I'm upset. Because they trying to kill Mo. They are really out here trying to kill Muhammad.
Kind of reminds me of the Vikings when they tried to kill Cook today. Literally. It's like first and 10, let's run them right up the middle. Oh, 1st and 10, right up. Stop with the predictability play calling. Save Mo. Play complementary football. Have the pass complement the run.
I mean, actually, now that I think about it, they couldn't cover Daniel Jackson either. They couldn't cover him either. And so I'm just out here like, their teams aren't even in the fourth quarter. They're not even trying to hide what they're doing, right? They're just going to put everybody in the box, leave one-on-one on the outside, and dare you to throw it. And 98 out of 100 times, whoever we have on the outside is better than who's covering them. So this play calling it made sense last year, and it made sense last year because we had a top 10 defense. This ain't a top, it might be a bottom 10 defense.
This is a top 10 defense in the Big Ten, maybe.
Maybe you're stretching it, Wyatt.
You really are stretching it. That's the sad thing about it.
There are 14 teams in the Big Ten, and some of them are bad.
We're one of those bad teams, yes.
Yeah, no. Well,
I mean, I don't think there is a worse.
Bad shape.
I don't think there is a worse run defense in the Big Ten. I think Michigan has a worse pass defense in the Big Ten. But of course, did we exploit that enough? Even though every time we threw the ball up, we either came down with it or pass interference. Did we? No, we did not. Why? Because we're gonna run it. Like that's. I love Muhammad getting his numbers. I love him getting his thing. But in the fourth quarter, use him like Wisconsin used Jonathan Taylor. You know if you don't load the box, you're going to die. But you know what? They have competent receivers on the outside. I saw Quintez Cephas score a touchdown or two in Detroit. They throw to him. And we're not. See, that's a problem. Also, Trayson Potts is the future.
True. But is it more on the fault of like PJ wanting to run trestle ball in the fourth quarter, or is that a Mike Sanford issue?
Both. I'd say both.
I was going to say a PJ thing, but then again, Mike Sanford has been making questionable play calls, so.
Honestly, I haven't seen a single play call this past year that I looked at and I said, well, that's different. Haven't seen that before, except for maybe the one time where Mo was the leading blocker for Potts.
Oh, that was great.
That was really cool. I was like, we like that. We like that. Because Mo's like, wait, I get to murder people and I don't have to worry about fumbling? Anyway.
Do we actually, now that I think about it, we use a variation of the spread offense, but we never utilize a fullback. Like, there's no one on our depth chart that's listed as fullback, right?
That's such a thing of 10 years ago. Everyone 10.
Even the NFL doesn't have fullbacks anymore.
Unless you're CJ Ham.
Kyle Juszczyk and CJ Ham.
I want to say Kyle Juszczyk might be the only fullback left. Even CJ Ham isn't listed as a fullback.
Yo.
He plays like a fullback, but he ain't listed as one.
Larranz, do you know what I saw this game that I mentioned before? I wanted to see more in the season.
What'd you see?
Then it worked.
What happened?
I saw a tunnel screen.
I remember what we used to do those. Y'all remember when we used that on Penn State?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do we do here? We run one and we get like 20 yards. You know what we also did, y'all,
we do.
is we saw Larranz on about a 2-yard crossing route over the field, and Tanner dumps it to him, and then he runs to the end zone. Did we not do that against Fresno State too?
We did. That happened.
we did. See, those plays work. I like those plays. Let's do those.
It's almost
Everyone-
like knowing your personnel and things that they're good at and diverse play calling that are able to exploit a defense's weakness and then open it up for the running game. Right?
We all know Rashad will get his catches going down the field on a go route. But do they think of him on a crossing route?
They do
on
not.
On a West Coast offense type style? No, they do not.
To which question number 14 of this, assuming that this was the end of the season, at what point did Rashad Bateman become a slot receiver?
I don't know, man.
Anybody know?
I don't know.
I'm like, so you're telling me the nuclear bomb that averages 20 yards a catch in the Big Ten and his best attributes are his long speed, route running abilities, and making a corner wish they weren't born, and you gonna put him in the slot?
What they tried to do was they tried to make Rashad Bateman Tyler Johnson. That is not who he is.
He's never been. Tyler Johnson could get open in a phone booth. Tyler Johnson, he's just like, give me an inch, I will quite literally take a mile. Like, that's him. Is Tyler Johnson necessarily going to get open downfield? No, unless your safety's name is Smoke Monday. But
Yikes.
But if you give him a
Bateman is not Tyler Johnson.
He's not Tyler Johnson. No, Rashad Bateman is gonna do that. And I'm like, y'all acting like Chris Bell can't run slants.
He can.
Like y'all
Chris
acting like Daniel
Bell
Jackson can't run slants. This is not difficult, and it's been very concerning, but you know what? I look at our 2021 class that is slated to possibly be the greatest class in the history of Gopher football, which, when you think about it, it's only a top 25 class, but oh well. And I look at, even though we didn't hit like the wide receivers like I thought we were, the two dudes that we get a kid by the name of Brady Boyd from Texas. Dude run a 4.3. We about to have beat.
So we about to have a cheetah.
We about to have a shoot Brady down there somewhere. Like, we about to have one of them. Not to be fair, we did that with Rashad too.
I will pay for him to take dash classes with Tyreek Hill.
I'm like, the last game, because broke his wrist, but the last game that he was in, I think he had a ridiculous stat line where it's like 8 catches for almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. And I was like, and this is in Texas. Fun fact, the number 1 quarterback in the country was throwing him the ball. But, he was in Texas, and, somebody said we're going to try to bracket him, and I don't know if you all are currently watching the Tampa Bay-Kansas City game, but that ain't working for him. It really ain't, and I feel bad. This is the worst game I've ever seen from Antoine Winfield Jr. Because there ain't a lot of people who can out-fast Antoine.
Except Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is one of them. But then again, Tyreek Hill only has the speed to outrun God. So, like, that's what. More of the story is, I imagine we're going to do some stupid stuff if Mike Stanford is still here. Like, Brady Boyd. Let's put him in the slot. Actually, screw that. Let's make Brady Boyd the kicker. Wyatt, are you all right?
You know what? Why don't we just throw Seth? Let's just really mix things up and throw Seth Green in the slot.
His entire role as a wide receiver is suicide balls. That's his entire role.
His catch that he had, he just got rocked.
Did he
He's a big dude. No.
Not at all.
He did not.
He took that. He took that L for the culture. He got hit harder than Nate Robinson got hit by Jake Paul last night.
But not a lot of people have to learn the discipline of being a running back, a quarterback, a receiver, and a tight end. This man's got to learn 4 positions.
Yeah, can we put him at a linebacker? Because I'm pretty sure he'd be more physical than any of our current linebackers.
But hey, Cody Lindenberg and James Gordon?
Okay, James Gordon is good. James Gordon is good. I'm going to like this one. He's violent. I appreciate that. He's like if Assezi was a linebacker. Just violent. He just wants to hurt something. How is he in coverage? Horrible.
Actually, question. You know how our base defense is essentially pretty much like a 4-3? Would it made sense this season we went to a 3-4? And the reason I'm bringing it up because I was watching Big Noon Kickoff yesterday with Coach Urban Meyer talking about the 3-4 defense. And in terms of like what BYU and Cincinnati has been doing, what they have for personnel, it works to go with 3-4 than 4-3, like their base defenses that those head coaches and defensive staffs have been so accustomed to. So would it made any sense at all if our defense have gone that route, or is still gashing on the run and not get to the passer?
So my initial thought is no, but I haven't thought much about it because of your comment about getting to the quarterback. As if we are our DBs and corners good enough at this moment to just let the quarterback and wide receiver make a play, and then we make a play on that pass. I don't really like our chances too much on that. I would rather hit the quarterback, make him scared, because Jack Plummer was 35 for 42. This man's only had 7 incompletions in a game. I don't like that stat. I want to hit the quarterback. So unless I hear anything otherwise, I'm open to it, but that's my gut reaction.
This is one of those where it's like, if we had a throwback name, if we had like a Steven Richardson, throwback, if we had the stove back there, yeah. Because Steven Richardson, he was that dude who was like, you want to put him head up against the center? Is that what you want? Is that the problem that you want? So I don't think we, based on the fact that A, we are incredibly injured, 2, opt-outs, 3, COVID, like we haven't had a consistent defensive line. So frankly, the only person who I would say is a down lineman who can go hunting is Boye. But you need 3 of them. Like, I think of the best versions of a 3-4 that I've seen would have been kind of Baylor last year. Because they only had 3 down linemen, and those 3 dudes went hunting every play. Like, it was ridiculous. And I just don't think that we have that at this moment. I don't think that we have that type of depth. So, no.
Wait,
maybe next year.
Wait, where does D'Angelo Carter fit?
He ain't there yet, but he gonna be good. He just looks like he got that baby fat on him. But dude out here hunting dudes. Like, he just looks hungry.
So then that goes to the next question then. So if the season, we're talking how if the season ended today, which is kind of feeling that way. Give me on each side, so defense, offense, and special teams, who is your one player you're looking forward to stepping up next year or being more developed? Go. Right.
Wyatt says, nah.
Wyatt is muted.
He's still thinking. I'll go first. Then.
Wyatt is not muted.
Oh, now I can hear you. Kind of.
I'm pulling up my list here.
All right, I'll say a couple things. For next year, I'm really looking forward to Daniel Jackson. I want to see what we can do with him because no one will ever be able to fill Rashad's Bateman shoes, and that's okay because he is a special man. But we need to find a way to make our offense work like it did in 1920. So, offense, Daniel Jackson, wide receiver. We have Matt Simon. We have PJ Fleck. We have 2 wide receivers. There's no reason why he can't be that good. And then it's pretty hard to fill the void of not having Blake Cashman, Carter Coughlin, some of our really good linebackers. So I really want to see Cody Lindenberg do a lot more next year, whether it's putting pressure on the line, making tackles in the backfield, dropping back in coverage and picking off passes. He has the potential to be really, really good, and we've seen small glimpses of that this season. So it just doesn't feel right that Minnesota doesn't have at least one good linebacker on their roster. It just don't. So those are my 2. Was there another one? Am I missing one?
Special teams, if you have one.
Oh God. I really want to see Tyler Nubin do really well. For some reason, he's quick, he's agile. He needs to tackle a little bit better. Other than that, if we can get the tackling down, I think he'll be a very, very welcome and cement his place on our special teams unit.
Cool.
All right, who's next?
I'll go. So offense, I was actually going to say Daniel Jackson as well. In the limited tape I have seen him and the limited games I was able to watch, Daniel Jackson is very promising. Like Griffin said it best, he's not a Rashad Bateman, and I don't see him as a Tyler Johnson. Like, he is his own animal, his own kind of skill set of a player that we can utilize in this offense. And I'm excited to see him taking next steps because I think he's going to pull a Rashad-esque season next year if he does take that next step, is either double his numbers and just improves on his technique and fundamentals. So very excited to see Daniel Jackson. Defense, I'm going to say D'Angelo Carter. The limited times I've seen this man play, I'm like, why isn't this guy in more often with Boye on these pass rush sets? But I'm like, whatever, it's fine. He excites me more, and I'm excited to see him take a leap. And then special teams, I don't have a player, but the one that I am very keen on is I want a legitimate returner. I think the team is really feeling with the loss of Demetrius Douglas. I know we always criticize Demetrius for everything in the past, but at least I can trust Demetrius to at least secure the punt and not muff it, or at least does his best in the situation that's handed to him. Mostly, I'm not seeing many things well from Cam Wiley or the other guys behind him, so I just need someone to step up and maybe it means firing the special teams coordinator. Well, I'll take that, but I just need someone to step up on the returner position for special teams.
I will go offense. Where is Griffin? Offense. offense, I am taking one Trey Potts because I don't know if y'all know this, but that man has averaged in limited carries 10 yards a carry. Dude is a problem. Every time he touches the ball, like he is a faster Shannon Brooks to me. And much like Shannon Brooks, he comes with injuries. But yeah, he's a faster Shannon Brooks to me, and I really want to see how he does. Jason, does this have to be a person who's on the team right now? Or, okay, there is a recruit on defense.
Josh Joyner?
Well, dag. Ooh, Ja, I can't wait. But
I love that I can predict that.
On defense, you know what? No, I will go with someone who I've already seen. I'm gonna go with James Gordon because if it wasn't clear, I enjoy his violence. I enjoy the fact that he is only here to hurt somebody. Is he very well versed in technique? No, he is not. Is he gonna take your head off? Yes, he is. So yeah, and then special teams. I am very excited to see the new coach of special teams next year because if Rob Winger still has a job come next season, I'm gonna have a problem.
All right, Wyatt, you're up.
Listen, I'm going to start the same way that Larranz started here. I'm going to go with Trey Potts for offensive player that I'm excited to see more of next season. I think Trey Potts is the future, as Larranz puts it. And I think that Mohamed Ibrahim and Trey Potts duo is going to do some dangerous stuff. On defense, we really need a linebacker to step up. And I don't know which linebacker that's going to be, but we got to have someone showing some nastiness in that area of the football field. What's that, Larranz?
I said, just give me a linebacker.
Yeah, just play the game mean. And I don't know who it's going to be, but hopefully somebody knocks their heads together and says, hey, you guys got to play this football game.
Is not
like
Mark
you mean
Allen,
it.
right?
And special teams, I'm actually going to name a player. I'm excited to finally see what Mark Crawford can do when there's football being played. Because, oh man, do we need a punter.
Why can't we? I feel like at some point, like Nick Saban, in order to gain the success, he had to lose a field goal kicker. Like, Alabama just can't kick field goals. It can't happen. It's against the rules. And I feel like in order for P.J. Fleck to put together the first 11-win season in 100 years, he had to give up a punter. A punter had to die. And that's the thing that we have sold. So,
yeah. So, before we wrap up, anything else in the Big Ten or NFL space, or hot takes?
Hold on.
Jim Harbaugh's going to get fired at the end of the year?
We haven't talked about him yet.
Indiana?
We haven't talked about the Hoosiers yet.
Hot take. Northwest.
Hey, we gave him some love earlier.
I wasn't here for that.
Has Indiana beaten a good team?
Oh.
How
you
many
just triggered Wyatt.
left in the Big Ten?
Two. 2, and Indiana ain't played either one of them. Actually, 3. We gonna see how
Indiana
they do.
can't play themselves.
Wait, yo, Wyatt. You know where they going this weekend? They gotta go.
I know
to
exactly.
They gotta go to Camp Randall this weekend, Wyatt, and play a very pissed off Wisconsin team.
Larranz, do you know how scared I am of Wisconsin if I'm Indiana?
You should be very afraid. That's the answer. Because unlike Ohio State, Wisconsin,
I'm not going to the game not ready, but I know that this could be the year if I'm Indiana, and I'm not going out lying down against a Wisconsin team that's played 3 football games.
Fun fact. Did you know that Wisconsin was without their top 3 wide receivers for the Northwestern game? Did you know they're all coming back? Did you know Wisconsin was without 2 of their starting defensive linemen against Northwestern? Did you know they're coming back?
Northwestern just lost to Michigan State.
You know what? What is Indiana's best win? Is it the 1-win Penn State? Is it the 2-win Michigan? Is it the 1-win Michigan State? Who is their good win?
I don't think that Indiana has a signature win so much as they have a signature close loss. They played one of the top 4 teams in the country. And lost by 7.
You know, I saw a 7-win Texas team nearly take out LSU last year. Is Indiana good, or is everyone bad? Because let's be clear, there is a difference between them beating Penn State and us beating Penn State. Because we beat a top 10 Penn State with Micah Parsons out here causing all type of havoc. They beat a Penn State that couldn't get past Nebraska. And they barely, and the only reason they beat them, mind you, is because the Penn State running back forgot to go down. If we being real about it, they should have lost that game. They really should have lost that game.
What's the closest game they've played in a win?
And they should have won it against an objectively horrible Penn State team. You got it. I bet if Northwestern and Indiana played in the Big Ten championship, I'm taking Northwestern.
Ooh.
I'm taking Northwestern.
You're taking a Northwestern team that just lost to Michigan State?
Yep.
And objectively horrible Michigan State?
Oh, if you watch that full game, you know you're just like, how the heck did Northwestern lose this game? They out here muffing punts. They out here dropping interceptions. When has that ever happened to a Pat Fitzgerald team? It doesn't. Is it going to happen again? No, it won't. No, it won't. So, you know what? I would take Northwestern, even though I will say that Tom Allen is very much so becoming my 3rd favorite coach in this conference.
Tom Allen's hungry.
Wait, who's the other 2?
Oh, my favorite coach in this conference is Pat Fitzgerald, period. Like, people are just like, how is Northwestern good? I would feel like, how is Northwestern good? And I have to remind people that last year, despite being 3-9, Northwestern still had a top 25 defense. They were 3-9, but they still had a top 25 defense. And they brought back 17 people, 17 starters. So I'm just like, you telling me your team could be objectively a trash fire and you still gonna put up incredible defense. All he needed, he didn't even need like a good quarterback because Peyton Ramsey isn't good. They just needed a warm body. That's all they needed. A warm body, a singular warm body who can throw those little Tom Brady dump down passes because none of their receivers can get separation. That's all he wanted. So yeah, I'm taking Patty Fitz, and then I guess, second place will be PJ. I'll take PJ second. Third place is Tom Allen. Fourth place is James Franklin. Fifth place, Greg Schiano, who, if you did not watch the Rutgers Purdue game, let it be known that people said that PJ Fleck came from the Greg Schiano coaching tree. And it wasn't until they were using things like hyper and family in the game that I was like, oh, this is the originator. I thought all that stuff came from Fleck. It did not.
No, Griffin and I learned the interesting way when we were in Rutgers. It was like, wait, family? Forget about I love you? Was Schiano? Hyper?
Oh, Rutgers?
Yeah. Yeah.
When?
We went last year in the away game.
Oh.
I just want to say, Larranz, that's disrespectful to Greg Schiano. Putting him below James Franklin like that.
I know James Franklin has won a Big Ten title game. I know James Franklin has won 3 New Year's Six bowls. I know James Franklin took over a program that was about to die.
Wait, then where is, the two coaches we may hate because they're playing against our rivals, Paul Chryst and Kirk Ferentz?
Oh, crap. Okay, I'll say my favorite coaches, not the best coaches. Because if we were going, who's are the best coaches, it would go, again, Pat Fitzgerald is number one, and I will not hear any slander. Pat Fitzgerald is number one. Because how can you win at Northwestern? Literally how? You're basically playing with a bunch of band kids. How did this happen? Anyway, Pat Fitzgerald is number one. Number two, I'm gonna take Jim Leonard, the defensive coordinator at Wisconsin. I'm not gonna say Paul Chryst. Screw him. Actually, Paul Chryst is kind of nice. I'll take him. Third place would be, I guess, Kirk Ferentz and his nepotism. Yeah, I love how Brian Ferentz is going to be the head coach next year, despite everyone saying that he's racist, but okay.
Then what about Ryan Day?
And 14th place is Scott Frost.
Wait, Scott Frost coaches?
I didn't say he coached. I said he's the 14th best coach in the Big Ten.
He coaches.
I'm out here. I am legitimately struggling to find a worse coach than Scott Frost because I saw Mel Tucker beat both Jim Harbaugh and turn around and beat Patty Fitz. Right? I saw the Michael Oxley at Maryland beat PJ and then turn around and beat James Franklin. What is Scott Frost's signature win? Can anybody think of one?
Nope.
Can you think, what is Scott Frost's best win? You see what my point is. I see that we're coming together and thinking, because his best win is either in 2018 with Mike Riley's players, A win over a future 7-win Gopher team.
Oh.
That at the time had Rob Smith as the defensive coordinator.
Oh, don't insult me by spitting out that name.
Or a win over eventual 7-win Michigan State team that was on their third string quarterback in a blizzard.
Was that Rocky Lombardi?
Yeah, it was the 7-6 or 9-7 game. So which one is
9-6.
more iconic?
It was 9-6 because it was 5 field goals.
Oh God! So which one is which one is great? Or maybe his iconic win is that one time where he was within a score of Ohio State. Exactly. Scott Frost sucks. He's bad, and he blames everyone. And they're still trying to steal our best recruit in Avante Dickerson, and I hate that. I mean, I understand it because he's literally from Nebraska, so like.
Is he still salty about Tyler Johnson wearing a sleeveless hoodie from last year?
Yeah, well, maybe if your defenders wore hoodies, they wouldn't be so cold and they could actually tackle. Because they certainly couldn't tackle Tyler. They certainly couldn't tackle Muhammad or Rodney.
I think Tyler did the defenders a favor by wearing a hoodie so they could it would help them tackle him, which still didn't really help.
Like they should have had something to grab onto,
But he says if you grab it, it's 15.
I mean, that's something, I guess. I don't know, but this is. Just a quick update. The Chiefs beat the Buccaneers, to which one Tyreek Hill had 13 catches for 269 nice yards and 3 touchdowns.
So he only had 66 yards after the first quarter.
Because somebody was like, yo, let literally anyone else beat us. To which also one Patrick Mahomes threw for 462 yards. Woof.
The $500 billion man.
Yeah, and Tom Brady throwing interceptions again.
That maybe Tom Brady isn't the best quarterback in the league?
What? No, because that would be Brady hate. And people are going to be like, yo, he scored 14 points in the fourth quarter to come back within 3. Truffle ball. Anyway. Hey, any hot takes? Can we just do hot takes and end this thing?
Any hot takes at all? We'll take them.
Bye-bye, Jim.
It's either the Detroit Lions.
That's spicier than Indiana beating Wisconsin. I can't even top that.
You think Patricia's gonna go crying back to Bill for a job?
I mean, going on home to Bill. You know, he knows you done messed up, but he is a forgiving man.
What with Billy O'Brien? Will he go back?
Go back home. My hot take. Oh.
Say it. Say it.
Rob Smith will become the best defensive coordinator in the Big Ten. Is that what it is, Larranz?
Yeah, absolutely. Rob Smith is gonna. My hot take. Oh, I don't know if this is hot or just dumb. No, that would be dumb. Oh well, screw it. Tom Allen is the coach at USC next season. And Matt Campbell is the coach at Texas next season. The same Texas team they just beat.
So you think Urban Meyer's going to stay in retirement with the media?
Where would it go?
True.
What, you think he feels like maybe Urban would go to SC, but that's about it? What, he's going to go to Texas for what? That place is
not Texas. I was going to say SC, but
nah. Tom Allen or Tom Allen and Matt Campbell are the ones doing the big coaching moves this year. And Tom Allen's gonna cry, and he's gonna be like, I love my team so much. Also, I'm taking my talents to USC. So, those are my hot takes. Wyatt.
I think that Jim Harbaugh losing his job is a little bit too hot for my liking.
Nah.
But I do like another.
That's lukewarm.
Wait, what?
I do like another Big Ten coach losing their job.
Oh.
His name is Scott Frost.
No. No. Like, they're going to lose next week to Purdue. They're going to lose next week to Purdue. And no, Nebraska wouldn't dare. Because who are they going to get?
I don't know, but anybody's better than Scott Frost.
They can try Luke Fickell, but I don't think he wants Nebraska.
Luke fucking hire us.
Oh,
We're
crap,
better than
I
Scott
forgot
Frost.
Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
I hot take. Luke Fickell is the coach at USC. And Matt Campbell is the coach at Texas. Tom Allen, he's going to stay and make them. Tom Allen is the new old Kirk Ferentz.
Ooh, I like that. I quite
got
like
it.
that.
I got it. Derek Mason just got fired, but now he's coming to Nebraska.
Get the Vanderbilt coach who just lost to nothing to Missouri to be the head coach of Nebraska.
It's a perfect fit for him.
Oh, but
You
hey.
could do worse.
But hey.
You could keep Scott Frost.
They can go 0-8 in the Big Ten. That's cool with me.
Hey, Vandy had the first woman be a kicker in the FBS level.
Can we get her because she kicked the ball perfectly?
Yeah.
Didn't kick it out of bounds, didn't allow a return, perfect pinpoint accuracy. I'm like, I would like some of that.
But also, I will say this, some of the people on Twitter, like being like armchair kicker coaches, I'm like, it was a squib kick in the video that they shared.
And that was a perfect squib kick.
Yeah, it was perfect.
You could not ask for anything better.
Like, literally, I'm like, that was perfect execution. I don't know what else you want, but okay.
I think in the long term, we might see more female kickers.
Get these awesome soccer team girls to come in. And you know what? I am just waiting for all of these armchair coaches to have their masculinity ripped away from them. When one of these dudes does a return on one of these kicks and gets shellacked by one of these female kickers as the last line of defense.
But
that's what I'm waiting for.
Do you want to be shellacked how Pat McAfee shellacked Trindon Holiday?
I want them to be shellacked kind of the same way the Penn. If you remember in 2016, that big old Penn State kicker that we played at Penn State, who we, for some reason, wanted to hit. I want it like that. That's what I want. Just like the dude's coming, he's like, haha, I got past the blockers. Now all I have to do is get past the kicker. That's what I want. hit them harder than like custody agreements.
And on that note,
we will end this podcast. So thank you for listening to episode 32. Have a great holiday season coming up. We'll hopefully have a couple more episodes before we end the season. But thank you for your time. And again, I'm your host, Jason, along with...
I am Larranz. Keep all the 2021 recruits in the boat, guider.
I am
Griffin.
Wyatt.
Oh.
Don't sleep on Indiana, Okers.
They're going to lose to Northwestern.
And Griffin. Most.
And we'll see you next time. And
LeBron's out here acting like I won't take an Indiana loss to Northwestern just fine.
I just really do not want Indiana to get in the Big Ten. I can't.